Hello everyone, it's been a while. Yes. So obviously stuff has been happening in Final Fantasy XIV. We had the announcement stream with the expansion announcement as well as a bunch of information that came out during that stream. Uh and yeah, it's time to do a video on it. Sorry it's so late. What ended up happening was as soon as that stream ended, I went and watched the live letter which happened, like an hour and a half after that, and that lasted way into the middle of the night, so I did not feel like recording my thoughts then. Then the next day was raiding and just, spending time with the rest of the free company, so that was a lot of fun. And then after that, I got sick. so, so I just did not feel like talking because my throat was sore. And we're going to do this video now when my throat is not as sore right now. So, yes, let's try and keep this somewhat short, although short for me is still pretty long, so let's just get into it. So first off, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put my trailer reaction next. It's fairly underwhelming reaction because it's just me sitting there being like, "Whoa, the music! What is that?" For like 3 minutes. But yeah, you can go ahead and watch that if you want, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the details. No, it's just black screen. Black screen death. Oh yeah, Creative Business Unit 3. Final Fantasy 16 trailer right here. Oh my god, the music. Swear to God, if it's the moon, I'm gonna lose my shit. Oh my God, please don't actually be the moon.
The final days were upon us. The fabric of the star had begun to fray, its lands rent by tooth and claw.
Oh shit, Ali's saying CG. I don't think we've seen that before. He's a paladin now? Yo, when is he gonna be a,
Alize!
What the hell is that?
Are you alright? I can look after myself, you know.
What the hell is that?
And I've had enough of this racket. Come on!
Well, alright. I guess that's one of the new jobs. It's Van Daniel, I think. Oh man, I can't wait to listen to the full version of this song. It's great. So good. Oh man.
The far edge of fate. Ring blades dark.
Dude, I want Alligans to be the antagonist so bad.
Tolling the coming of the end.
Endwalker. Fall 2021. Yeah, I suspected that. Okay, so really good trailer. Yeah, the music in there, like as I was saying in the actual reaction, Soken does a fantastic job. Yeah, really good theme. I don't know if I'm gonna like it more than a Shadowbringers theme. I don't know, Shadowbringers just been so good, but I have high hopes for it, and music's always good. It's always a highlight, usually, of every single piece of content that gets released. So no worries about the music there. But really nice trailer. We got Alice and Alphino in the CG trailer. I don't think we've seen them in CG trailers before. I don't think so. It was really cool to see that. We also had Alphino previewing the new job, the new healer job, Sage. We'll talk about that in a bit. And yeah, there was a lot going on in that trailer. It was a pretty straightforward trailer, if we're being completely honest. And now it just makes me more curious as to how the events of patch 4.5 are going to tie into Endwalker and how that will be playing out. I'm not too sold on the title, if I'm being honest. Like, I get what they're going for with Endwalker and stuff. But I don't know, it just doesn't really roll off the tongue as well as other expansion titles. But I'm sure I'll get used to it. I'm not sure. Like I'm fairly certain. Like, because it's Endwalker, and they talked about this. One of the big things that they talked about was the fact that Endwalker is going to be the end of the story arc for Heidelin and Zodiark, which I actually think is really exciting because it's going to be a finale, and finales, usually the thing that lasts the most with people are endings to stories. So they have a really good opportunity here to really do something big and grand, and I'm really looking forward to it. But also, I'm just really excited to see, what they do next, because they said that the story for Heidelin and Zodiark will end by the end of 6.0. So by the end of the expansion, when we get that, is the end. And then 6.1 will be a start of something completely new. Really excited to see what that is. But at the same time, I'm not really sold on the fact that this is going to be better for Shadowbringers or even Heavensward for me. Mostly because Xenos still around. I don't care for Xenos. I really don't. I'm really disappointed that he's still part of the story because I don't find him compelling at all. It's the same thing that he was after, back in Stormblood. He just wants to fight us. He just wants to fight someone who's stronger, and I don't find that interesting. I'm sorry. I don't find his character interesting to bother keeping around. Back in Stormblood, I found Fordola and Yatsuyu to be far better villains, and I was way more interested in them than I ever was with Xenos. And the fact that he seems to be playing a big role still in Endwalker is, I don't know, it's not ideal for me, but you know what? I'll deal with it. Maybe they have something cool planned for them still. I think some people are also speculating that since spoilers for 5.4, I guess, if you haven't played it, but since he, stepped on his katana, he's like, I need a new weapon, that he's gonna end up, being the new job that we didn't get revealed in this announcement stream, which, yeah. So, I don't know. We don't really know a whole lot about the story yet because we haven't done patch 5.5, and there's probably lots of spoilers, so they couldn't really talk about it, so I'll reserve judgment. I'm just saying that, as far as the setup and the actual concept, Shadowbringers was just an amazing concept. I also really loved the dynamic between Thancred and Reen. That was a really big highlight for me. So, yeah, I don't know what the big draw is going to be, but there's definitely some potential here for some exciting character moments with existing characters and hopefully with some new characters as well. So, yeah. I guess we should talk about the new jobs now. So, 2 new jobs, which, expected. Back when they did 3 new jobs for Heavensward, they said that it was absolutely horrible for them and that they didn't want to do that again. So it's not surprising. And on top of that, they were still working on Ninja, which released in, 2.3, 2.4? So in the middle of A Realm Reborn. So yeah, that must have been really rough for them. So 2 new jobs, pretty predictable. I guess there's still room for a limited job, although if I'm being honest, I'm not really a fan of the limited job thing because I don't know. I leveled Blue Mage to 50 the first day it came out, and I haven't touched it since because it doesn't interest me. It's not content that I'm personally interested in. But so if they do a limited job, then that's cool for everyone who's interested in it. Myself, not really into that, but there is room for that. And if there is, then I guess it'll be a next announcement stream, which would be the Digital Fan Fest, which is going to be happening mid-May. I don't remember the exact dates, but that's happening mid-May, so that's when we'll be getting more big announcements. Yeah, so 2 new jobs, like I said. The first job, Sage. We had a preview of it in the CG trailer with Alphino. Healer. We all knew that we were going to get a healer because we were all disappointed we didn't get a new healer for Shadowbringers. They had to release a new healer this expansion. So, Sage, new healer. we did actually get confirmation that the second job is going to be a melee DPS, which I'm actually really glad it is. I know some people were really wanting a caster DPS because we only have 3 casters, but I think melee DPS was a bigger priority because we it's just how it's structured, right? Because we have 3 casters and 3 physical range DPS, so that's 6 range DPS. Versus only 4 melee DPS, and with how limit breaks work and how astrologian cards work, and also the fact that, you know, standard DPS comp for most parties is 2 melee DPS, 1 caster, 1 ranged. I really did think that we needed a new melee DPS to sort of help balance out the interest in the sort of DPS variety, I suppose. So really happy that we're getting a melee DPS. Not sure what it is yet. We're gonna have to wait until May, I'm sure, to find that out. Big speculation that it's going to use a scythe, just based on, you know, hints from Yoshida's shirts, you know, the ones that he wore during the announcement stream, and also the one that he wore in the live letter. People are speculating that it's going to be using a scythe, and they also speculate that Xenoth might actually be a character who wields the scythe, or is the new melee job, I guess. Which who knows? Maybe he does. It's gonna be weird. I'm gonna miss if he does end up, you know, changing his weapons and becoming a new job, I guess. I'm gonna miss his stupid, silly rotating scabbard thing. But oh well. But back to Sage. It's gonna be a barrier healer. It looks like he uses Charlayan technology. The new lists, I believe, is the weapons are called. So that looks very Charlayan to me. And, you know, they also previewed it in Gubal, so I don't know, it just screams Charlayan. I'm actually really happy with this, and also a bit disappointed because I was on like the not alchemist, the apothecary, you know, the chemist train. I was really wanting a healer that used medicines and potions and, you know, maybe like poisons for damage. You know, something different than, you know, just using magic to heal. So I was really on that train. And we got Sage instead, still using, you know, magics. But it is also, you know, a fresh idea. You know, it's not similar to what we have. You know, if it had been Geomancer, I would have been so disappointed because you know, I'm sorry if you wanted Geomancer, but I think that would have been an exceptionally boring choice for a new healer. So I'm really glad that at least, you know, even if it isn't what I wanted, it is something that, you know, seems fresh. You know, it's a new take, it's a new idea. So really excited to see what Sage does. It's going to be a barrier healer as well. And the interesting thing that actually interested me even more so than the actual announcement of Sage was the fact that they're going to be making a differentiation. Wow, that word's really hard for me to say. I'm also like sick too. I'm gonna use that excuse, but they're gonna be making a differentiation from regen healers, or I guess pure healers, and barrier healers. And with this, they're gonna have Sage and Scholar be barrier healers, and then they're gonna have White Mage and Astrologian be the pure healers. So I guess Astrologian is gonna lose Nocturnal Sect, which is gonna be kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it could work. It could work. I mean, they also did say, and the exact wording on this was actually, they said they were going to make, you know, rules for the Raid Finder. Now, they said Raid Finder, which the Raid Finder is really only used to queue in for raids, right? The current Savage raids and maybe the current Extreme Primal. That's basically it. That's all the Raid Finder is really used for. So I'm not sure if this is going to extend beyond that. I'm sure in the Party Finder there's going to be like different categories for pure healer, barrier healer. You know, so you get one of each. I'm sure people are going to definitely pick that for the Party Finder. What I'm curious is if this affects the Duty Finder, because they said Raid Finder. Is it also going to affect Duty Finder for, you know, full party content? Obviously, like party content, there's only one healer anyway, so, you know, obviously it's not going to make a difference there. But for, you know, full party content, you know, normal difficulty trials, normal difficulty raids, alliance raids, where there are definitely going to be 2 healers, you know, is it going to make your queues longer to make sure that you get only one pure healer and one barrier healer? You know what I mean? Because, you know, as it is now, you know, double double white mage is pretty okay. Double astrologian is also pretty okay. It's annoying when you're trying to, plan out, your cards and divination. But as far as healing overlapping goes, as long as one person goes nocturnal, the other goes diurnal, it's okay. Double scholar though is fairly painful. Sometimes depending on what you're doing. So if they're going to make that differentiation, I'm not sure. I am curious to know. On one hand, it'd be good to just kind of avoid that sort of overlapping in skills, I guess. But at the same time, it also means healer queues are going to be slightly longer, especially since one of the new jobs is a healer, So, yeah, curious to see how that ends up playing out. But Sage, thumbs up. I'm excited for it, even if it isn't what I was hoping for. It still looks pretty cool. Also, thumbs up for the melee DPS. I'm glad we're getting melee DPS instead of caster. Caster, you're just gonna have to wait another 2 years next expansion probably, and you'll get one. Moving on. What else do we got here? New zones. They talked about new zones. Obviously, the moon. I was honestly really surprised we were going to the moon. Like, I thought for sure that was just gonna forever be a meme, but it actually it's not a bad idea. If they're definitely gonna store or have story aspects tied to the moon with the Hydaelyn Zodiac arc, Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc. Man, that's really hard to say. Then yeah, sure, why not? Go to the moon. Go to the moon. And also, it's like a solid Final Fantasy IV reference as well. Going to the moon. Cecil went from Dark Knight to Paladin, just like the War of Light is apparently doing, which is I wonder how much of this stuff they had planned out, man. Because that is either really forward thinking or just a happy coincidence. That someone in a meeting while they were planning out the expansion was like, hey, wait, Final Fantasy IV. But yeah. So that's pretty cool. We had a couple of new zone reveals as well. We have Thavnair, Razadhan. Really excited to finally go there. Especially we have Dancer in the game now, so I'm actually really excited to see what happens there. We also are going to Garlemald as well. Ruined Garlemald, but Garlemald nonetheless. And I'm really excited for this because Xenos is a part of the story. I'm really hoping that also Gaius comes back into the fold in the story as well as Sid and Nero. I really hope to see those three become more integrated into the main story again. It was really cool seeing Gaius, at the end of Stormblood, and obviously he's part of the Warlit storyline right now. But I'm really hoping that him, Sid, Nero come back into the main story as well. Estinian as well. We got confirmation that Estinian's going to be part of the trust system going into Endwalker, which means that he's probably going to be coming with us on our journey. I mean, at the end of patch 5.4, Kryle said that she was going to go find Estinian, right? So they're going to go get Estinian. He's going to join us on our journey. Obviously, he had a little bit of interaction with Gaius before and during Shadowbringers, so it'd be kind of cool to see them pair up again. So yeah, I mean, there's some hope. There's definitely some hope for some good character interactions there, and seeing Xenos and how those characters will react to seeing him again, because Gaius and Estinian had already run into Xenos before. Not much else. The thing is, they announced a lot of stuff that happened, that's going to happen, I guess, in Endwalkers, but they didn't go into a whole lot of detail. Which, because they can't spoil anything, right? And it's still far away out. Fall 2021. I didn't even mention the release date. Fall 2021. That's definitely like October, right? My guess is probably mid to late October. It's also possible that things could get delayed, further back even to maybe like November as well. And if it gets delayed, it's whatever. I can't be upset about things like this getting delayed with, the current state of the world. So if it gets delayed, it'll be disappointing, but I won't be upset. That's basically my stance on it. So I am really excited for it. So, but what else? Raids. They did talk a little bit about raids. They gave us the name of the new 8-man raid, Pandemonium, and it's also going to involve La Habrea to some extent. Interesting that they would include La Habrea as part of the raid when they stated that they are trying to end the Heidelin Zodiac arc with 6.1 or 6.0. So, a little curious there that after the story ends, because the way it's been historically, you get the expansion launch 2 weeks after that, normal mode comes out, and then 2 weeks after normal mode, Savage comes out, right? So after the story ends, we're also going to have this new raid story that involves an Ascian. So it was a little interesting there, but I wonder what they're going to be doing with the story moving forward with Pandemonium and stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. They didn't give us much on the Alliance raid that's coming, but they did say it's going to be an original Final Fantasy XIV Alliance raid, which I'm all for. As fun as it is to get crossovers, with events and raids and stuff, I do think that Final Fantasy XIV does need to, make its own stuff sometimes. It's really cool when Final Fantasy XIV actually stops, drawing from past Final Fantasies or crossing over with games, when it actually just does its own thing. It's really cool. I think it'll be really cool to see what they end up doing with their original Alliance raids. So I'm really looking forward to that. Alliance raids are my jam. I usually like pretty much all of them. So anything else? They talked about luring numbers, stat squish. Completely understandable. It was bound to happen sooner or later, and it's happening now. So that's happening. It's gonna be a little disappointing seeing our numbers shrink. I'm gonna miss, hitting for over 200k with technical finish, but it has to happen sooner or later. So it's happening now. So stat squish is happening. They did say that this might affect unsync content. Going back and doing unsync content, it might make it a little bit more difficult with how things are being, recalculated and all that. I'll reserve judgment until I see it, but I'm not too worried about that, honestly. Especially since we're also going to be getting a level cap increase to 90, obviously. So, going back at level 90 and doing those older pieces of content, probably, it probably won't make that much of a difference. Maybe going back and doing the Shadowbringers unsynced might be tougher than, maybe like how it is now with doing, Stormblood unsynced stuff. So, we'll see how that ends up affecting it, and obviously they also have plenty of time to sort of work out the kinks with that and recalculate everything, and maybe it'll be less of an issue when the expansion actually launches. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. Island Sanctuary. This was kind of a fun thing. It was basically like lifestyle content, right? So you go to this zone and you make it your own. You can tame animals and stuff, and maybe build stuff, and basically it just sounded like an Animal Crossing or like a Stardew Valley sort of thing, but in Final Fantasy XIV. Which, yeah, sure, I'm all for that. I'm all for that kind of stuff. I love to see that kind of stuff as someone who spends way too long playing Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, I would totally love more excuses to just sit there and do random things and not just raids and dungeons and all that stuff, but just just random stuff that I can just kind of do and relax, and lifestyle stuff. Spend hundreds of millions of gil on housing and glamour. Why not start your own farm too? And yeah, that pretty much covers most of what was announced, or at least most of the major stuff that wasn't self-explanatory. Like they talked about, obviously the story's gonna end. They're gonna have it's not gonna be the end of Final Fantasy XIV. Yoshi Peach saying he's not gonna leave the project. Level cap increase, new battle system update. New skills, maybe losing a couple of skills. Just self-explanatory stuff that doesn't really need to be explained, but they did take the time to explain it anyway. What else? I guess a big thing, I guess, they're getting rid of belts. They're getting rid of belts, and they're increasing armory chest space for weapons and rings by 15, I think, each, which is good for rings, especially really good, since you need 2 of those for each job and class, so having extra ring slots definitely nice. Yeah, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. If there is anything else, we'll cover it next time in May when they do their digital fan fest. Okay, I think that's everything, right? Endwalker, it's coming fall 2021, probably sometime in October, if I had to guess. That is my prediction, mid to late October. Really looking forward to it. Honestly, all things considered, my disappointment with Xeno still being part of the story aside, I think that it's gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the story arc finally finishes and what they end up doing in the future for 6.1. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it's been a thing for over a decade, right? Since 1.0 it started, so it's gonna be a decade-long story basically, finally wrapping up, which is really cool to see. Yeah, and then they can finally start on something fresh. I'm really looking forward to that. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the video now. It's been almost a half-hour video, and I'm feeling my throat starting to get sore again. Talking for half an hour doesn't help with that, definitely. So, I'm going to go get this edited and post it. So, thank you guys for watching, and look forward to... I'm going to really get on the grind for videos again. I know I've been kind of lacking in it, but there's just been a lot of stuff going on that's just kind of stopped me from really having the time and the energy to make videos. But with this, I'm a little more reinvigorated, so looking forward to doing that again, and hopefully building back up some sense of normalcy and an audience again, and I thank you guys for sticking around, even though I haven't really been posting a whole lot over basically the whole last year and a half. Really, it's been very inconsistent for me, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, I'm really invigorated again, so I really want to get on the grind again. It's gonna be fun because this is one of my favorite hobbies to do. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever that ends up being. Sayonara, bye bye.